The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, with a plethora of revelations and diversions today and admissions. So just hang on. It will all unfold in time. Do not get ahead of me. In the meantime, we're a market that's up a bit. Last I looked up here, 21 on the S&P cash, up 13 points. Little bit better volume, 1.95 billion shares in the NYSE consolidated tape. And, of course, a lot of this is on one stock, which is Netflix. We'll talk about that today. A lot of people just thinking this market just going to grow to the sky. There's no pulling back. And we'll see. History has not been kind to people that believe markets only go one way. And we'll talk a little bit about that today. I actually have a small rant on the subject. And we'll see. As always, you can call me at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And maybe I was getting your mail on Tuesday and maybe not. So if you send anything to me, I may or may not have gotten it. There's a few people in the den that were paying attention. Yesterday, we talked about it pretty much all last week, where the major Italian company that was providing basically tools for less than super highly skilled hackers for governments, basically had all their goodies pilfered and hacked, and now they're all over the internet and being downloaded by anybody that has a torrent account or a BitTorrent client. But what is interesting yesterday was actually started on Tuesday, and that is I started having problem with my emails, basically almost pretty much shut down my service yesterday, so I couldn't do the show. And I was trying to figure out why I couldn't send emails to TFNN, but I could send them to a lot of other people. But it was just between me and TFNN, and there was a reason for it. My computer, I keep all the latest updates on it, and I've got a pretty decent firewall and a few other things. So wasn't my machine. And actually, I tried several machines, had the same problem. Come to find out that one of the things released last week was a hack. That hack was allowed people to install a new version of firmware on the router that I have from Fios from Verizon. And actually, they were able to use it for nefarious deeds, not against my computers, but other ones. I was excommunicated from my own company, TFNN. And couldn't even get to their website because it was doing heinous, or is it heinous? Heinous? You can call in or email me at path@tfnn with the correct pronunciation. But I think it's about a hyena. So how would it be pronounced? It's hyena-ish is what it's really supposed to mean. Well, anyway, I do diverge from what I'm thinking. The third one was correct. I can't remember which one the third one was. Anyway, it is what it is, but I'm back and running. Got a new router from Fios. I was in a long line of other people apparently bringing theirs back too. I have ordered yet a newer one and probably not susceptible to this ever. The new firmware is supposed to at least keep the kiddies out that don't know how to modify the software, but a bank shot kind of hit me a little glancing ricochet from what we talked about last week. Well, let's get this show started.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1945 at 5:29 a.m. and 45 seconds, a Manhattan Project comes to an explosive end as the first atomic bomb is successfully tested in Alamogordo, New Mexico, at the Trinity site. Of course, everybody was worried about the Nazis getting the bomb before us. At that time, we were actually worried about it. In actually 1940, they put into the budget a whopping $6,000 for the Manhattan Project. When they found out that the Nazis were working on it, basically eventually ponied up $2 billion in 1942 dollars to build a atomic bomb. And I have a rant on this a little bit later, mostly because of the exceptionally poor coverage that we have. But a lot of things that just seem nuts to me. We'll talk about that as I get time. And that's why the hero is toast. And some of my other stuff. Well, not a lot of moving that was interesting so much.
It's a mistake. It's a mistake.
Well, I made a bet, and it was a mistake. I have to prostrate myself in front of Andy Heck today. I thought that there was no way that anybody could do anything as stupid as that. Occasionally you find one stupid person, but rarely do you find stupidity on the kind of scale that we've seen this week. And we're talking about the Greek bailout from the EU. I'm not exactly sure who's more ignorant and stupid in this, but maybe I'm the most because I was willing to bet Andy Heck on that. We were supposed to do something on air today. Unfortunately, the powers to be at TFNN put the kibosh on it. And I quote, "The bet was so perverse and so profoundly disgusting, it was not only banned in Boston, but on TFNN." And that's not a quote. I actually made that all up. So Andy and I are going double or nothing on the next one. And we will talk more about this in the near future. But I was wrong. I guess I was also wrong on our comedian. I didn't think that somebody could get to 80 years old and have all the people that said something about him. I mean, you got to think that you'd hear more than one thing about a comedian that is running around drugging all these girls to have his way with them. But, you know, I heard 100 stories about how horrible Mr. Letterman was on his show. And one that I remember hugely because I was there working with the people in the engineering room and was there for it. So I know just how horrible some people can be, like David Letterman. When I was wandering around in studios with Jay, you couldn't hear a bad word from him from anybody. I mean, everybody loved him there. You know, it's kind of tough when you hear 1,000 things about somebody. When you hear nothing about somebody for 60 or 50 years, kind of hard to say. But now, what else can I say? I was wrong, Andy. I was wrong. And we're going double or nothing on the next one. And maybe next time we'll pick something that can go on the air. But yes, we were told it was so perverse and so profoundly disgusting, it would not go on TFNN. So we will move on. Goldman Sachs talking about perverse and disgusting. The earnings are out today. We found out that another $2.77 went to pay off their ongoing criminal conspiracy at Goldman Sachs. Even then, revenues were probably kind of interesting. It didn't make a lot of sense. It was down a little bit earlier this morning. In fact, I didn't see what it was currently trading at. Let's do a quick one on that. Yeah, off 250. A lot of people really upset that they continue to have to pay out and over. Maybe Andy Heck will talk on his show about this, because I have a feeling this is a lot about them manipulating not only LIBOR, but doing that musical chairs a bit with all the not rare, but precious metals ongoing. And we will figure that out. Netflix, of course, came out with earnings. They were up very strongly today. Going to hit a market cap of about $50 billion. There are a few companies out here that look to me like they have the ability to be a $50 billion company going to a $2 billion company. And this is, when you look at this and the valuation that Wall Street is putting on them, the one thing that comes out to me is one thing: either Amazon is incredibly cheap or Netflix is incredibly expensive. I'm doing an Andy here with gold and platinum. One of these two things don't meet the other. It's kind of a where's Waldo thing. The problem with Netflix for me, first of all, and companies that I hate with gigantic valuations that have no barriers to entry. Amazon's doing the same thing. They're almost sending out as much video every month right now as Netflix. So where's the valuation in Amazon? So did Amazon just give up stupid ideas like they had yesterday for their Amazon Day that I think was a total bust? We said that yesterday before everybody started saying that today. Seemed rather stupid to me. There was nothing in there I wanted. I don't think there was anything in there that really most of anybody wanted. Maybe a couple of TVs. That's about it. But to me, Netflix is very interesting here as a short, not at the moment, but probably as a pairs trade between this and Amazon, because either Amazon is worth 1/4 that Netflix is 1/4 or less the price that it's trading for today, or Amazon's got to be trading for a great deal more. Not only do they have everything that Netflix has, they have a giant retail company. And could it just be that Amazon actually has real earnings and we don't know what's out there in Netflix? We talked about on Tuesday the radio show that I was playing that was a non-financial thing, where someone came on and said they thought that these companies just had to be some kind of Ponzi schemes where they continue to pour money back in, no profits, and we don't know what their profits would be. Of course, we saw that in Facebook. They actually did finally find out a way to monetize what they did. This one, though, just looks to me like anybody can do it, and I hate companies that don't have anything that can stick. We'll talk a little bit more about this when we come back.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
When we come back, or now that we've come back, earnings after the bell tonight: AMD, Google, Mattel, Schlumberger, SolarWinds. We'll see about how that's doing. Google, I suspect, has a very interesting movement after the bell tonight. Options are saying that it could be, 50, 60, 70 points up or down on Google. And it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. I don't have a good read on them. We'll talk about that in a minute, I guess. Netflix, I just wanted to wrap up my thoughts on this before we broke. Again, as far as I can tell, everybody in the world is going to be able to stream video. Netflix has the incumbent position, which is normally the technical term in technology, i.e., you have to displace them to some level. But to me, Amazon probably has a better ability to displace Netflix. Not only that, the people that are content creators have a vested interest in busting down someone that's big enough that can put pressure on them. A lot of the people in the content business are familiar with what Apple was able to do to music and musicians themselves, and don't want to be in that position ever again. One of the reasons why I think you continue to see almost no discussion about Apple and Apple's music streaming system that they bought for $3 billion for Beats. My guess is that's going to be a bust. But on Netflix, I love the service. My only question is the price. Eventually, maybe not now, eventually the price will come back in line with a company that does, maybe I'm wrong on the barriers to entry, but it's hard for me to figure out how you just don't start yet another site and start streaming video from it. Not a lot of real specialized stuff that Netflix has done other than just doing it. Trying to remember I know the movie's Annie Hall. I'm trying to remember the guy that made all those movies. I'll think of his name in a minute. Maybe somebody in the den. But his famous quote is 90% of all success is just showing up. Yeah, Woody Allen. Thank you. Thank you, Chapman and Andy. Anyway, he said 90% of it's all just showing up. And I think just Netflix just showed up. I think that's been it to this point. Can anybody justify the valuations in this based on the fact that there won't be 100 other people doing exactly what they're doing? I just don't see it yet. Can they keep it for a while? Am I saying short them tomorrow? No. It's just over time. It's very hard to see anybody have a product that differentiates itself with Netflix over time. So that's my big problem out there. And I would, like I said, if I'm totally wrong, what you want to do is probably short Netflix now, and you want to go long Amazon because Amazon's got another couple $100 in it if Netflix valuations are real. Other things going on, there was a giant hacker bust out this morning, 28 arrests. What is most interesting in this, or when you dig into it, was that one of the gentlemen that wrote one of the nastiest piece of hacking viruses was and did work as a intern for FireEye. And they're now rapidly running through what this gentleman had access to and where it was at. But he may have been able to give the keys away to some of the things that FireEye has done. And we may look at a big change in what FireEye, Cyber, and a lot of these other companies are doing as far as what they do with their programmers and what their programmers do after they leave. But they nabbed this guy today, and he was writing some very nasty stuff and had the inside track on how they defend against it, and may have given away the keys to the kingdom on the inside, much like the hacker people from last week basically spilled all their guts all over the internet and let Pandora's box run free. Last night during his show, Tom O'Brien talked about Intel's earnings, and it seems counterintuitive, but we'll talk about how Intel is kind of the iceberg out there. What you see is only 10% above the surface. A lot of what Intel does out there, you do not see at all. And of course, the Altera buyout, and we'll talk a little bit about that too when we come back. And then an epic rant in the next segment as I get time.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
If you're looking for a great opportunity to diversify your financial portfolio, consider the Principal Protected Market Safe CD from Everbank. They've just released the second running of their 5-year Market Safe Power Metal CD, which combines the power of gold, silver, and copper. You get exposure to 3 valuable metals in one index CD and have the potential to earn up to 45% capped upside payment at maturity if the metals increase in value across annual pricing dates. And should they decrease? No worries. There's zero risk to your deposited principal here, as you still get 100% of it back. Keep in mind, returns are based on CD performance. There is no annual percentage yield or periodic rate of interest on the CD. Intrigued yet? The August 17th funding deadline is quickly approaching. So hurry over to everbank.com/TFNN-CD for more information, including important product details and disclosures. Once again, that's everbank.com/TFNN-CD. Everbank is a member FDIC.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Just crossing the wires, SEAL Team 6. All the records have been hacked by the Chinese. So I don't know if that'll do them any good. Let them know who's on it, but that's it. Anyway, got a little bit of intel and a little bit of rant while we're waiting for options expiration tomorrow. Intel came out with earnings last night, a little bit better. They were up 50 cents or so today. They were up almost $2 last night. But their earnings maybe seem counterintuitive. All that anybody can talk about is PC sales coming down a little bit. Most people don't know that they've got basically a monopoly in the business. And, of course, AMD's after the bell tonight. The one thing that Intel is praying for is that AMD does not go out of business. In fact, they made kind of a side deal to make sure that AMD got the business for the Xbox One instead of them, and they, from all accounts, stood back and let it happen. So, so AMD would have a fairly decent stream of cash coming in. They may not make any money, but they won't go out of business instantly. Intel, of course, I'm calling them the iceberg because everybody looks at what they do and they go, you know what? I didn't buy a new PC, so Intel is going down. The reality is a lot different, and that reality is that they make a gob of cash. They make Apple look like a piker when it comes to margin on some things. Those things are Xenon processors. Those aren't the ones they sell to me and you. Those are the ones that they sell to data centers. And these things can have 64 or 128 cores in them, massive amounts of memory. The motherboards themselves are $1,000 or $2,000. Intel's got their fingers in that pie, too, of making chips that go on the motherboard for those processors. The profit margins are astronomical, where Apple's biggest margin product is about 68% margin, which is huge for a hardware manufacturer, for retail manufacturer. Intel has some chips that are $5,000 to $10,000 in these Xenon processors. The margins on these things are 700%, 800%. When you get back into the processors, if you're building a very fast gaming machine at home, their margins can be somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 and 90%. For a standard processor that you'll buy for something at your home, their margins can be 30 or 40%. And that's it. They make a ton of money, and it's in the data center business. They have a virtual monopoly with in fact, I said it before it hit the wires out there. I said, well, you know, they've got 98% of all the server business. My guess is that that probably ticks up 1% and they go to 99. And it did. It went to 99 last night. Of all servers have these Xenon processors in them. And what you do figure out on this is that they have a great business that you never see. These things are locked away and are on an industrial scale. Mostly what we see, just like an iceberg, that you only see the top 10% of it, the 90% of it's under the water. Just because PCs aren't selling is not that big a deal. When servers quit selling, watch out below for Intel, because that's where the real damage would be done. And of course, with everybody doing cloud this and cloud that, it's very hard to see how these systems are going to do anything but continue to sell well. I don't know if they're going to be up a little or down a little, but they're not falling in half. We did talk about it, and I got it late last night, and that is the version that is going to consumers the 29th from Microsoft, from Intel. I don't think that the upgrade cycle for Windows is going to be anything close to what it was in the last couple of moves for Microsoft as they moved machines up. They basically wanted a platform, and if you have Windows 7 and it runs on it, it's going to probably run well for Windows 10. They spent a huge amount of time making sure that everything was faster, quicker, and more optimized for less powerful equipment than it has ever been before. In fact, that's been the majority of the work. The interface is probably 10 or 15% of what they actually fixed on this. A lot of it is just making everything as smooth and as transparent as they could. A lot of it is interface stuff, and you'll see it when Windows 10 comes out. I think Intel will have some movement in this, especially since Windows 98 is no longer being supported, and they'll move a lot of people out that will probably eventually just move their machines up. One other question, well, I'm got them run out of time today, was why PC sales are lower. And I've brought this up before on the show, and maybe I'll bring it up with Tom tomorrow night, because he asked a question, probably is off doing something and not listening at the moment. But why are PC sales a fraction of what they were 10 years ago? And the answer is capacitors. I don't know if a lot of people, oh, I've got one over here in a box. I'll grab one over here during the break. But the capacitors are the big difference. And I don't know if a lot of people know a lot about electronics. But one of the things with capacitors, especially electronics, pretty much until about 2008. But these capacitors had kind of a gooey liquid inside of them. That gooey liquid would eventually dry out. Capacitors would fail. The power supplies could short out the motherboards and blow up the processors. One of the reasons why your computers don't blow up anywhere close to the way that they are before is Japan really worked hard to come out, Panasonic, Sony, a lot of the other manufacturers of actual components, electronic components, worked very hard and had a lot of patents to build totally sealed, hermetically sealed capacitors. And without those things failing anymore, these things are going to last. Computers are going to last a long time. They're going to far outlast your ability, for the most part, to use them. If they don't fail within the first 30 or 60 days, they're probably going to have a lifetime of somewhere around 20 years of age. But it was these big capacitors that were failing in power supplies because they weren't sealed. They'd slowly dry out. They blow up. And when they blew up, there was no fail-safe for them to not put in huge amounts of AC into the motherboards, destroy the sensitive processors and other things. So there's a variety of things out there. Of course, Windows 98 being around forever didn't help PC sales. You didn't have to upgrade your PC. But a great deal of it was something very quiet in the background, which is capacitors, sealed capacitors from Panasonic, which was the big company pushing them out the door. They're highly expensive. They were, at one time when I was building stuff in the 90s, 10 times more expensive for a capacitor that was sealed. We used them in the 90s. What Panasonic did was bring the price point down to an affordable level for things like PC motherboards and power supplies, not just equipment that went into TV studios where the cost was not that big a deal. It was more important to make sure that the things worked and had a long lifetime than maybe a PC that may be traded out every 2 or 3 years. But that is it. Yeah, that is true. Z in the Den says akin to sealed wheel bearings. But that's kind of it. Anyway, I've now installed the force shipping version on 3 different machines that I have. In fact, I went out and bought yet another SSD hard drive last night for $60 for 260 gig or 250 gig hard drive, PNY from Best Buy last night. I'm going to be doing some more work across the end of the summer for Windows 10. But I tell you what, hardware is incredibly cheap right now, and a good time to be buying stuff, in my opinion. There is a reason why, and one of the reasons why we made a lot of money short a company in the Tech Insider. Yesterday, Janet Yellen was speaking, and of course, since my internet was down, I didn't get to do the show. I got to watch all of Mrs. Yellen's blabbing. So what did we learn about what she had to say yesterday? The most important thing is that a rate hike can happen at any meeting. She said that if they do decide to do a rate hike at a meeting that does not have a question and answer session after it's scheduled, they will just go ahead and add that. So see a rate hike, look for that later. But that's it. But, oh, that's one thing. The other thing is that when she was asked why she thumbed her nose and emptied her nostrils in the general direction of Congress when asked for all the information about why there was a huge leak of a Fed decision minutes, what was it, 5 or 10 minutes ago or before, and somebody made a giant amount of cash at it, she just said that she didn't have to. So as far as I'm concerned, if that's the attitude, I think the Fed probably needs to be regulated. If they believe that they are yet a new fourth leg of the government, I think they need to be smacked around a little bit and a little reality. Maybe 3 days in jail for contempt of Congress would help Ms. Yellen out and figure out that she is not above the law. She used a rather flimsy excuse, but she has no standing. They asked what legal standing she had for not telling them no, and she again reiterated something that had nothing to do with the law. She said she was asked not to do it. It has nothing to do with it. Congress asks, subpoenas something for it. You either have to claim the fifth or cough it up. So, Ms. Yellen, were you involved in that? Or are you covering up for somebody else? Anyway, just another thought out here. Of course, after the bell tonight, we already talked about it. That is, of course, we've got What do we have? I put it up here a little bit earlier. What do we have? I typed it in the din out here. What do we do? No, I'll go back and find it out here. Must have put it up here earlier. Did I put it? Yeah, I took about it. It's rant time anyway. I got 3 minutes and probably not enough time to rant. This rant may take me all the way to the end of the show. We may have to talk about stocks tomorrow. I have put on a couple of massively asymmetrical bets, and I think I've got about a 40 or 50% chance of them paying off. They will pay off 10-1 for tomorrow. So there are some interesting white fever last minute option plays out there in the market. Let's take a quick look at here. 21.22. So the market has moved nowhere during this show. I don't want to go off on a rant here, but I guess I have to. And somehow over the last week or so, I think I'm stuck in the movie Catch-22. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. There's pieces and parts of it on YouTube. You can easily find it on the internet and play it back. It's, I think, a 1972 movie from, I'll remember the director's name, Michael. Anyway, excellent movie anyway. If you've not seen the movie, it is about a bombardier who no longer wants to fly. He's done his 25 missions, and the colonel of his outfit just keeps raising the amount of missions. If you're not familiar with it, during the first year, there's nobody, not a soul that made it past 22 missions. They were all shot down. 70% of those people died instantly in the airplane. A handful of them made it, of course, to concentration camps, prisoner of war camps, and the inn. And this movie is about somebody that's basically a coward, doesn't want to fly anymore, but is basically doing a clinger. He says he's insane. It would be insane to get in that plane because everybody's being killed, and it's a suicide mission. So he's asking the doctor to throw him out on a Section 8 because he'd have to be insane to get in that plane. So by not being in there, he's, of course, not insane, so he has to get in the plane. And it's a circular logic that goes round and round and all kinds of things. But basically, it is Catch-22, which is that, of course, if he was insane, then he still goes on the mission. If he asks to be taken off the plane because he's insane, it only proves that he's sane. So we get this circular logic that just goes round and round and around, and I just feel like I'm stuck in this Catch-22 movie out here, and I just feel like we're consumed with all kinds of nutty thinking, and we'll talk more about that when we come back from the break. In the meantime, the market's stuck at 21.22. We don't have a lot of volume, but I don't know what else I can say about that. 2.2 billion shares. Volume is alight once again at the highs as we try to push higher in this market. When I come back, epic rant, section 2.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry, powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
If anything that's happened this week makes me think of anything, it's Catch-22. Of course, you've got to be crazy, but if you know you're crazy, then you can't be crazy. It's a circular logic that is just, I don't understand. The world seems to have gone nuts, and it's all in one week. But we're in a world right now that's consumed with all kinds of nutty thinking. But without a lot happening at all expiration tomorrow, I thought I would take an opportunity to go through this. Of course, if you want to talk about Catch-22, there's no better example, of course, than looking at our economy. Of course, we've got a Fed that says we can't raise rates because inflation isn't high. We can raise rates because employment is full. But, of course, they don't want to raise rates because they know that then they'd have to tell everybody how they lied about how they figured out the employment rates. The Fed engineers a bubble in the markets to get us out of the effects of a bubble. Is that any different than prescribing cancer to a cancer victim? We're just going to cure you by giving you more cancer. In Europe, they have to lend more money to a country because that country could not pay back the money that they had already lent them. If you want to talk about a catch-22, how do they ever get out of this? The Greeks themselves had to accept the money because they, of course, had no money. So they had to accept money that will actually eventually put them in default. My question is, would you be surprised if Greece decides to go after the great economic model of Detroit? You know, so far, crazy has really worked for them. The other thing I saw this week, or another thing I saw, was that the most American-made car is a Toyota. The least American-made car in the United States being sold this year is a Chevy. Of course, we have all kinds of other things going off out here. I don't have a time to catch them all. California says they're out of water. They want to spend billions, almost trillions of dollars to build a rail system, but they won't build one pipeline to bring water into their state. Literally, they're going to spend they could spend up to $1 trillion building a rail system to go between LA and San Francisco. Yeah, I think it will make the big dig look like something fiscally responsible and a great return on capital. But for me, I just kind of feel like I'm sitting on the Titanic, yelling that there's an iceberg ahead, and the owner of the ship is screaming, faster, faster. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you can email me at path@tfnn.com. But something makes me think that we just have something really, really wrong. And I got kind of the hairs on the back of my neck standing up right now. I'm expecting the unexpected. I didn't have enough time to get into all my rants today. I will rant more next week. In the meantime, as we go out for the end of the show out here, again, like I said, not a lot of movement out here, not a lot of volume. We're stuck at 21, 22. Options suggest lower for tomorrow. I have some white lightning options out today. If I lose, I'll lose less than a quarter. If they pay off kind of where I think that they should, then I'll probably make about 10 to 1 on my money. So we will see. I have about a 50-50 chance on those. And as long as I continue to make bets like that, I think I will have more new motorcycles in my garage. Anyway, remember to make bets asymmetrically. Sell when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you here tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. Hang on for the next 3 hours with Tom O'Brien in the next 2 and Andy Heck in the one after that. And he'll be calling off earnings. That is Tom O'Brien. We got several after the bell. See you tomorrow.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.